All right, well, welcome to this episode of Gaming by the Letter. So basically, I've been looking to try out more Atari 2600 games to add to my collection, but I just don't want to buy any Atari games. I don't want all the Atari games. I just want the best of the best for each console that I owned. And it was a lot easier back in the old days. You could rent a game, try it out, decide if you want to buy it. Not so easy nowadays. So I did the next best thing I could think of, emulation. I know it's not perfect for certain games. It might make games lag, and then that make them a little bit unfun if you need that type of accuracy. But I figure for most games, it should be fine. And the easiest way to do that is the archive.org's website. They have a bunch of consoles there that you can stream right on their website. Will that introduce some errors here and there? Maybe, but I think it should be just fine. So I went over to the archives website, found the Atari 2600 section, over 500 games, and I figured I'd try them out all of them, and I'd rank my top 5-ish, maybe more, for each letter, and then go from there on the ones I'd want to own. So I figured that'd probably give me around maybe 100 games I'd want to own for the Atari, maybe less. Maybe the top 5 aren't the ones I want. So we went from there. To get started, I used this C64 Mini's joystick. USB came with it, and it was easy. Plugged, worked. Mapped the buttons on this to the computer with joy to key. Worked really well. Each one works as a button, joystick. It's not the same as the Atari controller, but it's pretty close enough to where I was working with it fine. So let's look at the A games. Not all the games on the website I tried for the letter A, because some were PAL or some are prototypes. I'm never going to be able to own those, so I didn't really want to look at those. I wanted to look at the ones I could actually buy first, and then maybe after I got done playing the Atari games, I'd look into prototypes. So the idea was I'd spend 10 to 20 minutes playing each game, decide whether it hooked me or not. Because, there's so many games out there. If a game can't hook you in 10 minutes of playing, you're never going to play it again. Or if you played for 10 minutes and you're like, yeah, it was fun for 10 minutes, but I don't have that itch to want to go for high scores in that game or something, or things along that line. So I tried out a bunch of games, and let's check out the top 5 and a bonus to see what we got. All right, so we find ourselves on the archive.org's website, their console library, Atari 2600. So to start off this one, we're doing the top 5 with letter A. So as you can see right here, we have Activision Decathlon, Adventure, Adventures of Tron, Air Raiders, Sea Battle, Airlock, alien stuff like that. Not all these games I tested out because I'm looking to test out the games I'd want for my collection. And what's the best way to do that than free? Yes, it's emulation. Is it going to be perfect? No, but it's probably still pretty close enough that I should get a reasonable accurate if I'm going to like the game. Not all the games I'm going to try either, because some of these are prototypes or PAL or other countries, and I'm never going to own those, so there's no reason for me to try those. So I figured might as well make a list of the top 5 games for every letter of the alphabet, and then maybe some letters have more because they're more intense, but letter A, we're doing 5. So right off the bat, let's start with Adventure. So Adventure is one of my top 5. It's easy to play, works right on the website, no problem, and it's one of those games where it's short, but there's different difficulties, different objectives if you increase those difficulties, and it gives you a good place. Is it a game you're going to play for hours and hours and hours, multiple days? No. A lot of the Atari games you're only going to play for a little bit. I look at Atari as a almost arcade console where you play for high scores, you play more than one game in each sit-in, but this is one of those ones where you go around, you look, you enjoy it. It's kind of like a movie. You're going to want to own it, play it, and then maybe in a year or two you're like, oh man, I kind of want to try that movie again, check it out again, and this you can do it. As long as you're not good at memorizing mazes, you'll probably be able to play the game again and still have to search and not remember exactly what to do, and then kill the ducks. Or dragons. Dragons, yeah, they're dragons. Okay, let's move on to the next game. So this one is called Air Raiders. It is a little hard at first to get used to the controlling. Once you get used to it, it's actually a fun game. I do feel like I'm dogfighting or looking for the planes and trying to take them out and not crash. The game is definitely a little bit of a learning curve to get used to how to fly a plane, but it's fun. I have to say, out of all the flight simulators, I don't really play them very often, but I have to say, after trying this one, I'm definitely into this. It's basic. It reminds me of the arcades. You go, you look for the highest score you can get, keep a sheet, and it just works. I would definitely recommend this. This is one of the ones I'm going to get for sure. So just don't crash too often. You don't have to worry about your altitude. All right, next up we have Alien. This one was not what I was expecting when I saw the actual name of the game. Sometimes you forget, it's the Atari. There's only so much they can do, but honestly, this is like the sleeper hit. I would have never saw this game in a cartridge and be like, yeah, I'm going to get Alien for the Atari 2600. I would have been like, nah, it's probably going to be a horrible game. But I'm a big fan of Pac-Man. And it's like we're basically playing Pac-Man. You got to get all the dots. You have this flame thing. But I don't know if it's just the emulator or I didn't read the manual good enough that it doesn't seem to work. Sometimes they run away. And then sometimes they just keep coming after you. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh, see, he just ran away. But you know what? If you like Pac-Man and you like going for high scores and everything, this is on my list by far. All right, next up we have Assault. Just like the arcades, you have your space games, Atari 2600. This one is actually a really nice high score space game. It's a little difficult at first because they're moving fast. A lot faster than you think for an old game like this. You can shoot sideways with the trigger button, and you shoot up by holding up. And then you can move back and forth, take care of the evildoers, and try to get a high score. And you know what? That's my type of space game. I really enjoy arcade games. I like going for high scores. I like getting better at them. And this one does a really good job. Easily on the list. Alright. Astro Blast. This one was a little different. I almost feel like I'm doing bad, but good at the same time. It's basically like a Missile Command, Space Invader. Instead of defeating, anything, your whole goal is just destroy the incoming meteors, bombs, and all that, and keep your score above 0, and not get hit. If you like that type of reflect game, trying to get a high score, this is good. Would I necessarily want to buy this for my console? If it was like one in the dollar bin, easily. If it's like $5, I don't know, because I'm not going to play it often. But when I sit down and want to play some arcade-style games, the Atari is probably a good base for those high score. Just, hit the button as fast as you can and just keep going. I mean, obviously it's easier when you're not talking, but yeah, definitely. So those are my top 5. There was a bonus one that I wanted to play, but it wasn't available. So this is the one downfall to the Archives website. Some of the stream games, they don't work. Not sure why. It looks like people played it before, 86 views, 3 favorites, but it's not working now. So I don't know if sometimes the games go in and out of working. Maybe they're doing an update to the website. I'm not sure. But I really wanted to try Asteroids. I think it's probably another one of those arcade-style games for the Atari 2600 that is probably up there, should be on the list. So I'm going to put it on my, additional games. But yeah, those are my top 5 games. They have a lot more to choose from. And they have over 519 games from the Atari, which I think covers most of the games available. There might be some missing, like Asteroid and stuff like that. But definitely recommend those 5. Adventure is probably the one I like the most, because it definitely feels like you're playing more than just an arcade game. It's a little bit different than just going for the high score. And Air Raiders is pretty enjoyable too. All right, everybody, thank you for watching this episode of the top 5 Atari games, starting with the letter A. I guess gaming by the letter. There we go. All right, everybody, catch you next time, and we'll do the letter B.
Okay, Atari, let's see your best pitch.
You're out, Rose.
I quit soccer to play Atari.
You need more practice, Haley.
You can't keep me in here, Atari.
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set. Don't just watch television tonight. Play it.